All right, so I've been chasing this for quite a while now. This goes back 2 years now to when I started my dedicated wash bay. And I wanted a on-wall, mountable pressure washing solution that I could have to display. You know, I wanted to put it on the wall, I wanted to see it, but I didn't want to have to roll out the cart. It was nice as the 1122 is, the cart model pressure washing solution. I think it's fantastic, especially for those that don't have the right circumstances, whether it's the right garage or the right, maybe you're renting a place and you don't want to go to the extreme of putting holes in the wall. So the 1122 is still, I think, the most viable, simplest solution. But if you want to take it another step further and go with a clean install or a clean option, or maybe you have a detailing cart, or I'm sort of like a detailing truck or trailer, I should say, and you want to be able to take a pump that's going to last a long, long time, is German engineered, high quality, stout piece of machinery, then this is going to be the solution. So I've set out to create this. Mainly because I know that the solution I have in my garage, the $4,500 K1322 TS, needs 25 amps, needs a dedicated service. You can't just plug it into a wall. It's 2.8 gallons per minute, so you need some specific orifice nozzles. It's loud. It doesn't turn off when you release the trigger. So there were a myriad of issues outside of spending $4,500 on that beautiful pressure washer that I have in my wash bay. But at the time it was the only option for me. It was the only option that made sense. So I'd highly considered doing for my wash bay doing the K1322. It ends at 1622. There's no TS on the end of it. The problem with the K1322 for my dedicated wash bay and pushing water through the boom pole, I was running it 30 feet, 40 feet to the boom pole, is flow. And for washing cars, flow is more important than pressure. And in fact, we a lot of times want to dumb the pressure down so we don't end up damaging the paint. I prefer to use around 1150 to 1200 psi as my preferred pressure output, just to the point to where I can hold it 12 inches from my hand and with a 40-degree nozzle and not cut it or hurt it. That's right at the edge of where I like to wash with, and I've been tweaking and playing with that for darn near 10 years now. And so the issues with the 1622 that existed were it's 1.7 gallons per minute at 1600 psi. I don't need 1600 psi. I'm going to dumb it down to 1200, but I would like more flow. I would like more water output. I would like it to to be closer to like what we have with our K1122, which is 2.1 gallons per minute. So again, flow to me is more important than the pressure, right? Because again, we're gonna dumb the pressure down. So I met with the Kranzle owner of Kranzle, Germany, Ludwig Kranzle, and Uwe, who is one of the lead engineers, and we sat down with Kranzle USA, and so the three parties or four parties, including myself, we got down, we sat at a table, and said, "Man, we're really changing the game here on and really selling a lot of K1122s. The 165 is problematic and it's so expensive and doesn't fit most applications. So what their big question to me was, what would you want?" So I went to bat for all of us and said, what I really want is I want the option to buy the 1122, which is fantastic, or I want to be able to buy the pump from the 1122 and put it on the wall. And so now we're looking at it. It's affectionately called, I like to call it the OG version, because I'm responsible for this. Actually, we're responsible for this. But this is a replica very close to what the 1122 is, and we're calling it the K1322 TS. It's the same body as the 1622. It's the same weight, same everything, with the exception of the way that it outputs water. It's 1300 psi and 2.1 gallons per minute. So it matches the gallon per minute output of the 1122. So that was something that was really important to me, is that I wanted to be able to get as much flow as possible. The pressure really didn't matter. I just wanted to make sure it was, around 1200 psi or greater. And so we now have a machine that also stops or turns off. We'll talk about that in a second, just like the 1122. So K1322 TS, and it's wall mountable, also very easily carryable with the handle, so you'll easily be able to carry it and take it with you. But I'm selling it as a few different options, right? And so this very first video on this unit is to offer just the pump, right? So you can buy just the pump. In order to keep costs down, in order to keep this, because this is a one-off solution and we're only buying maybe 100 or 200 of these, in order to keep costs down, I asked them if they could just send us the pump and then we could accessorize it ourselves, right? And so it's $950 shipped to your door in the continental US. If you're in Canada, I'll have it in the store, but I think it'll be like 75 bucks more. Hawaii becomes really expensive. Alaska, same story. But shipped to the US, it's 110, continental US, it's 110 volt. This will draw. I would highly recommend you have a dedicated 20 amp circuit. At times with the foam cannon, it will draw 17 amps. We haven't put a meter on this particular unit versus the 1122, but since it's pretty much the same thing, I'm assuming the same thing's going to happen with a 1.25 millimeter orifice, the standard orifice on a PF22 MTM foam cannon. You're going to draw, over 15 amps at times, depending on the time of day, depending on the heat, depending on your house. And so running it on a 15 amp circuit probably is going to cause you issues. There are some things we can do. We can open up the orifice on the PF22, get a 1.5 millimeter. That will help with overamping. I'm looking at the possibility of doing that, but I don't want to affect our foam. I know for a fact my original K1122 running on a 20 amp circuit with a 1.25 millimeter orifice on my MTM foam cannon works fantastically well. And yes, I'm drawing more than 15 amps out of the unit. I'm 8 years in to that sucker, and it just kills it. Just killing it. The thing's fantastic. And so I'm still going to continue to offer it in the standard package. But anyway, the 1322 for 950 bucks comes with nothing. It comes with a power cord, comes with a pump. Doesn't come with a hose, doesn't come with the gun. The main reason I ask for that, the Kranzle hose is really expensive. It's 200 and some odd US dollars. The Kranzle gun, the Kranzle wands are another $100+ for the combination. So we're adding $300-ish to the cost. I can get those for you if you want them, but my suggestion is you buy the pump, and then we can accessorize it with, I think, better solutions, a better wand, a better gun, a better hose, or at least a hose that's more economical. The Kranzle hose is good. I like this Cobra Jet hose I'm going to show you here in a second. So if you want just the pump, shipped to your door is 950 bucks, right? So then you can go and get whatever hose you want to get. Outlet on the machine, and I'll get you some close-ups here in a second, but the outlet on the pump, again, it doesn't come with this quick disconnect package here, the quick disconnects I have on it, but the outlet on the pump is a standard M22 14 millimeter male output. I do sell an M22 to 3/8 inch plug, which is only a few bucks. I think it's $6 in the store, so I do have these available to you. So the simplest solution is to add a quick disconnect to the front of the pump. Same thing with the inlet on the pump. We have our standard garden hose inlet, which you could thread your garden hose into, or you can put one of my MTM garden hose quick disconnects on it as well. So for those of you who are going to hand carry this thing around, or you're going to have it in your trailer for your detailing trailer, or you're going to, God knows what some people are going to do with this thing. What I think a lot of people end up doing is having it shelf mounted, and then you'll be able to pull it off the shelf and go clean your deck if you want it. But you want to keep it shelf mounted because it's going to be on the shelf 99% of the time, but you do want that 1% where you can take it and use it elsewhere. Stay tuned. I'm going to have the full custom install solution. Obviously, I'm missing the hose reel. I don't have this complete yet. The full custom install solution will be another follow-up video. This one is mainly just talking about the pump. So accessories that we would want would be quick disconnects on the inlet and the outlet, and then a hose. And so the hose that I'm suggesting, and I get questions about this darn near every day. This is a Cobra Jet 3/8 inch, 4,000 PSI capable. This is a single wire hose, meaning that it's more pliable. A 2-wire hose would be rated to 5,000 or higher PSI, but we want a hose that's pliable enough to twist and move and function, right, and move around with us. And so what we have here is again a Cobra Jet 4,000 PSI version. So the Cobra Jet hose has a swivel end, which you could use if you wanted to make this permanent and permanently attach it. I would recommend using quick disconnects on this. Just makes it easier to remove and store. But I'll have an option for a 25-foot or a 50-foot hose, depending on what you want. 100-foot if you want. For those of you who are going to buy this pump and carry it around and not permanently shelf mount it, I think you'll probably want a 50-foot hose. That would be my recommendation. You can wind it up and put it away if you wanted to have it so you could put it in a cabinet or something like that. Again, I'm not here to judge you. Do whatever you want with the pump. So blue, non-marking Cobra Jet hose, extremely pliable. It's just a super high quality hose. We have zinc plated. I wish they were stainless, but zinc plated. Very well terminated ends on both sides of the hose with these really clean looking, mine is twisted because I had it up mounted to the hose reel for a long time, but these extremely clean looking termination, these boots that cover up all of the termination. But these are fantastic hoses for the cost. Much less expensive than the Kranzle hose, but that's something that I would recommend. And then the other option we'll have would be my standard, the Mosmatic gun, wand, and foam cannon package, which you can add to this. We could also do the MTM stuff if you wanted to. My suggestion would be that you go with Mosmatic. It has probably the best swivel in the world. This is my original Mosmatic gun here. And so we have 3/8 inch coupler to our stainless steel swivel. And then we have all quick disconnectable connections on both ends, so we can switch quickly between wand, 20-inch bent wand, and just gun, short gun if you wanted to wash your wheels. So we can go directly into our hose like so. And then we have swiveling capability. And you can choose, you can play with it if you prefer the swiveling end of the hose on the pump, you can put it there. I would probably put the swivel end up here on the pump, and then put the regular end on my gun, just because the operation of the swivel on this is much better than the operation on the hose. But I do have some swiveling so my hose can hang nice and free off the end of my pump wherever I have my pump, whether it's shelf mounted or sitting on the floor somewhere. So that's going to be the option for, and you can buy a la carte. You can buy the CR Spotless. You can buy the cart model of the CR Spotless. You can buy, whichever part and piece you want. But I would suggest, if you want to take and put this somewhere, giving you the option to buy all of this stuff a la carte, and then add things like the hose or add the gun as well. So we'll open this up for pre-order if you're watching this video at some point distant interested in the future, I'll continue to update you with different videos and different information about this product. But so you'll have the option to do all this stuff in the store. You'll have the option to purchase however you want. The last and most important part about this pump versus the K1322, again 2.1 gallons per minute, higher output. We also have we have less pressure, so we give up pressure in order to gain flow or output. But the main advantage of this is, and I don't have it working yet because I've got to get my plumbing done, is this little black box on the side is a pressure switch. And so when we pull the trigger, so we have our gun, pull the trigger, turns on. Release the trigger, instantly turns off. Pull the trigger, turns on. Release the trigger, turns off. The 1622 will just continue to run in perpetuity, where this turns on and off as necessary. And so we have the same operation as the 1122. That's another problem with the bigger machines, like the really fancy one I have in my garage, or the new PW700 that we're now importing as well. That's a 3.3 gallon per minute, 2400 PSI pump. This on-wall solution and the cart model 1122 solution are the only two Kranzle pumps in the US with total stop, where they turn off as soon as you release the trigger. To me, that's important. I don't want to hear it sitting there running, even though this is extremely quiet, like ridiculously quiet. It's still running, sitting there, idling. I don't want it to do that. So although it's a little bit more wear and tear on the internal circuitry to have it turn on and off, having that pressure switch is key, and that's part of the reason why this costs more than the 1622 pressure switch. We had one-off custom design, and so we're at, again, 950 bucks. The 1622 is 890 bucks, comes with a hose and a Kranzle gun, but I would argue we don't want that hose or that gun, and so I would much rather have this solution. Another thing you may want, especially if you're going to be buying this pump and not mounting it on the wall, or if you have a hose bib nearby, you're going to want a hose solution, right? And so this hose solution here, you can buy it in right now 6.5 feet, 12 feet, 20 feet. I will have custom size solutions if you need that in the future, but for now, these are the sizes that I have. But to be able to quick disconnect our hose inlet and assume we had a hose bib on the wall somewhere we could connect right in would be something that I know a lot of people are looking forward to being able to do. So if you are going to be carrying this around, you'll probably need an inlet hose as well, and so I offer that as an option to the package. So that's another thing you may want to consider. Kranzle solution, fantastic. I'm really excited about it. Thanks for supporting me in this, because man, I want this for my walls, and so I know that if I want it for my wall, I'm guessing that a lot of you do too. So thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more crazy stuff like this. What happens when the force pulls you back, your foot naturally comes off the gas. You have to keep your foot to the floor, foot to the floor.